What's up, Switches?
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Cicero.
And this is the Switching Lanes podcast.
We're going to wait for some people to jump in, but we wanted to, hey, Yolanda, we wanted to
Hey, Yolanda.
Sip and chat tonight. We hadn't done the live in a minute, but our live seemed to go over pretty well, so we wanted to kind of connect with some of y'all tonight and maybe even bring somebody in, if possible, to chat with us.
Yeah, because we really love the real-time interaction. You guys do great with the questions and everything, and we noticed that you love it more as well. So we definitely want to try to put more Facebook Lives in this year as well.
Hey, Mel. Hey, David. Happy New Year, y'all, although we flew through January in like 3 days.
Phew, but wasn't that a long January?
It wasn't for me.
It was quick, but it was like, oh my God.
That's how a couple people said it was long January. For me, it felt like 3 days.
I don't know how you can feel so quick and so, like, how was it quick and long at the same time? It just felt like so much going on.
Contradiction.
That's
a contradiction.
Oh, it felt like one. Every day felt like a contradiction. I'm telling you.
I can see that.
But we hope you guys have been good since the last live and since the new year started, and hope everything is on track for you so far with whatever your goals were for the year. If you have not set any goals because you're not one of those new year, new me people, that's okay. You don't need a new year to create new goals. What's up, David? So, it's not about the new year, it's about the goals. Definitely create some goals, short-term, long-term, and map out a plan. Start reaching them. Start figuring out how to accomplish those goals that you really want to get done. Seriously.
Yeah. And before we get started, too, let's acknowledge we're wearing red. Go Red for Women.
Go Red.
It's American Heart Month, and today is Go Red for Women, for Women's Heart Health. I don't have a lot of red, so I'm wearing my alumni sweatshirt. I don't have much red other than glasses.
Mine looks kind of dark, but it's like black and red.
It's
mixed. Red. Yeah, it's red. We're going with red.
So we hope y'all wore y'all red today in honor of Heart Health for Women.
Definitely.
So we can go ahead and get started.
Definitely. First and foremost, if you have not listened to last week's episode, definitely you want to go back and listen to that. Yeah. And that was Why Can't I Grieve? And that episode is really important because it's addressing a lot of the people who had issues with those of us who were grieving over Kobe Bryant and the other 8 people who lost their lives in the helicopter crash last week. Or was that last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago. That's time rolling.
Time is really flying.
Yeah.
It
was January 26th.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
For the most part, there was a lot of negativity, a lot of naysayers who were just really bashing the people who chose to express grief and condolences for Kobe Bryant and the other people on that flight.
Well, mainly Kobe, because they kept saying you don't know Kobe. You don't know Kobe. And then, of course, you had those that said, well, there were other people on the flight, too, not just Kobe.
Right.
But, people fail to realize, Kobe just had a greater reach. Now, because of that accident, we do know who those other people are. Mm-hmm. But,
you knew who he was beforehand.
He had a major impact on this world, not just the country. He's had a major impact on this world, and he's really lived, I want to say, a model life is in terms of being a role model. He became a great dad. He became a great role model. A lot of people look up to him, and a lot of people attribute their success to his influence. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think it's okay. And as we, referenced in our last conversation, the professor from the University of Memphis that came out and wrote that article saying that it's normal. He's a psych professor, and he was saying how it's normal to grieve someone you don't know, which is, I think that just kind of goes without saying.
It makes sense. We've always done it.
Right. Grieving, I think people look at grieving in different ways. They try to define grieving, but you really can't define it. Grief is, it's like hey Mel, it's like, grief is what it is to you. what that person was to you, how that person touched you.
It's a very individual thing. We're all gonna handle it differently. We're gonna go through it differently, and we'll heal from it differently.
Right. It's like if you lost your grandmother and us being friends. I never met your grandmother, but I will grieve for you.
Hey, girl, hey. Absolutely.
I will grieve for you for that loss.
It's simply knowing that person is grieving and going through something. Right. And the prime example that I chose to use, like I said, make sure you go back and listen to last Friday's episode. The prime example that I chose to use in last week's episode was how we all grieved in 2001 for the victims of 9/11.
Yes.
For the first responders who are still suffering from 9/11.
And how a lot of us are still grieving with that situation.
Absolutely.
Because every year we have to hear those names called and we remember all of those innocent lives that were lost.
And you stop and reflect on where you were that day because it touched you in some kind of way.
I will never forget
it hurt you. So you have grieved for strangers. Yes, you have. And nobody has a right. Absolutely. And nobody has a right to tell you that you're not allowed to grieve for. Girl, I cried for days with Hurricane Katrina.
I think with every story that came out, I cried.
That was disastrous. And it took a lot of people a long time to heal from that. Not just the people coming out of Louisiana. You know, a lot of people dealt with hurt from seeing so many people stranded and unable to get help or supplies, watching the people that were perishing and no one being able to get in there and help them like they should have.
And no one willing to be able to get in there. I mean, that situation was just so disastrous.
Absolutely.
It was unbelievable. Like, some people are still having, what do you call it? They're still feeling the effects of that.
Yeah, some people are still traumatized from it.
Yeah. So, and still trying to pick their lives back up and move forward, you know, whatever that looks like for them. So,
definitely.
You know, it's not odd and it's not left field to grieve someone that you don't know. I don't understand why people think that that's so left field, but it's not.
Exactly.
And I think it's, to me, to feel like, oh my God, that's just annoying. I think that says a lot about your character.
I agree.
How you look at things.
Hi, Marlon. Hi, Cody.
And I'm aware that some people do believe, you know, some people do see death different.
Absolutely.
And they, you know, some people feel like, well, no, you're not supposed to cry. But, I mean, that's just a natural emotion for some people. I mean, I see somebody else crying and I probably start crying because if it touches them enough, then it'll probably touch me enough, especially depending on how I feel about that person. You don't want to see anybody that you care about hurt.
And like we said before, different people grieve in different ways. Just because you didn't see someone cry doesn't mean they're not grieving. A lot of us grieved in different ways for a lot of different situations. So it didn't make sense to me that we had so many people online, basically online bullying. I need you to understand that is what you are doing.
Yeah.
So many people online bullying all of these folks because, oh, you grieving for somebody you never met. You acting like you met him personally. You acting like this and that. No. They're acting like a human being lost his life. That's what they're acting like. Yeah. Because that's what happened. So we got to stop being so angry and aggressive with one another and so freaking judgmental, man. So quick to judge other people's process. Why is it not okay for me to grieve for Kobe if I pretty much grew up with this man? He was in the game for 20 years.
Yeah.
We got some avid sports fans out there that followed every step of his career.
Well, it's the same way, like I said, with Whitney Houston. Like, when Whitney Houston died, that touched me. I mean, that touched me.
Exactly.
I cried when I found out she died. I cried when I watched her funeral. And I grew up on that lady. I grew up on her.
Right.
Like, Whitney Houston raised some of us with her music and then to follow later her movies.
Absolutely.
I mean, she was a part of my life growing up. She's a part of my memory. I can hear some of her songs and they can take me back to certain places in my life. So I never met Whitney Houston, never been to a Whitney Houston show. But I felt that. I felt the effect of that.
I've always been a huge music person. So anytime we lost a large music legend, I felt it. Especially when we lost Prince, I felt it. I need you to know I was at work and I shed a couple of tears. You know,
too.
I didn't pass out, but I cried. You know, because
I'm on my Elvis with Prince. I don't think Prince dead. I'm on my Elvis with Prince. I'm still in denial about Prince, y'all.
That would hurt me because I had goals, man. I was ready to pawn everything in my house because he was talking about doing one last tour, and I was just ready. I'm like, that's going and that's going and that, because I'm going to this concert, and that man passed away, and it touched me in a way you just don't understand. So it's normal for you to grieve. Don't allow other people to shut down your process. Don't allow other people to put limits on your emotions and have you at just as emotionally bankrupt as they are. We need to really reconnect with our emotions and figure out what's really going on, because the more you are disconnected from your emotions, the more you are teaching your children to be that way. Guess what? It's a trickling effect. It carries on.
You're raising sociopaths.
Whew.
Let's just be real.
Speak it.
You mess around and raise a sociopath.
Yeah.
Because sociopaths don't feel anything. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good thing. To me, you're not human if you don't feel.
I agree.
You're just not. So.
Good point, Cody. That kind of negativity is definitely a cry for help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally.
A lot of people don't know how to process their own grief. A lot of people don't. I remember when Pimp C died. I remember that saddened me a little bit. I can't say I was a major fan because I didn't know a whole lot about him, but I do know some of the music.
Yeah.
And I felt that.
Marlon is a huge Pimp C fan.
Yeah.
Most
guys now say I thought. But it's I mean, like you said, we feel it. Pimp C, absolutely. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross.
Yes.
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
When these people pass away, you're just like,
legends, icons.
I know they're celebrities and they're still human, but you think these people, because we do forever have them on television and we forever have their music, they're forever alive in our lives and in our world.
And through that, you gain a connection with those people, whether you've met them personally or not. I think my reference last week's episode was 227. How many of us didn't watch 227 every week it came on, and all of us knew Brenda? All of us. I still follow Regina King's career.
Oh, yeah,
she is an amazing woman.
She got ties to Memphis.
No, what are her ties to? We got to talk about her ties to Memphis. Okay.
She has family here.
Love it. But yeah, she's an amazing woman, and I still follow her career. That sister is bad, and she is not done yet. Do you understand?
Right.
She's working on some powerful stuff, and you better keep your good eye on her. I'm telling you.
Not the good eye.
You're a good one, baby. Don't miss a thing. I'm telling you. Sister is working on some stuff, and you better keep your eyes open for her. So, I mean, it's just people that you've connected with through just continuously seeing these people in some way.
Yeah.
It's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve anyone. My coworker just lost someone, and I felt really bad because it's somebody really, really close. So we just have to keep in mind that everybody grieves in a different way, and we don't put limits on anyone as far as who they can grieve for or how or when.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a process. It's a normal process. It's a healthy process.
Absolutely.
I mean, because if you don't, then like Cody stated, people have their cry for help because 9 times out of 10 they have things pent up of their own, and they don't know how to process it. And because they don't know how to process it, they try to tell you how to process yours.
Right.
So
definitely. So we definitely want to make sure we're keeping our eyes open for the other people in our lives who are grieving over other people or over other things. Like I said, I do have a couple of co-workers who have lost loved ones recently. And one of them I'm really trying to keep in close contact with because they have a lot going on. Check in on your people. Absolutely. That's so important. Check in on your people because it's easy for us, and I've done it myself. I'm so guilty. It's easy for us to say, I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And you smile and you nod and you go on about your way. And you're everything except okay. And it's really important for us to remind the people around us that it's okay to not be okay.
Absolutely.
So make sure you're checking in on your people and keep an eye out for whatever it is that they're going through. When you see a change in their mood or change in whatever, check in on them and just make sure everybody's all right.
I'm grateful for that because I have a friend who called me out about a week ago. I'm dealing with some stuff, and she called me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." She's like, "No, you're not." Mm-hmm. She's like, "Friend, I know you're not okay." She said, "And God put that on my heart." She said, "I know you're not okay, and we need to talk. Let's have a conversation."
Good looking out. You know I'm talking to you. Good looking out.
Yeah, she said, "What's bothering you?" Yeah. And we had a nice long conversation, and it really, really helped out a lot.
That's really good.
I mean, I am dealing with a whole lot. I'm not going to go into that on here, but I am dealing with some things that, and I'm also dealing with some grief that I haven't dealt with. So it's.
But you didn't feel it necessary to reach out and say, "Hey, I need help," or "I need to talk."
Well, I didn't want to
did
bother
you?
anybody. I didn't, and I know
that's
better.
that's a big. You hear
I
that?
know better, but I didn't
That's a
want to
big
bother
issue.
anybody. I didn't want to feel like a crybaby, but that is a big issue that a lot of people have, and I know better. So